that we listen, that we say back what somebody said or the gist of it and try to correct it and see if we really understood and all that, is because when a person has said what they're trying to say, there is an internal effect of that. It's like most people in most conversations stand there like they're holding what they want to say and it never gets said. They sort of try it, but then it wasn't understood or was argued with, so they've still got it. And my picture of it, feeling-wise, sort of is like a person standing with a tray, like with a coffee cup and some sugar and some cream and some napkins and a spoon, you know, and they're sort of standing there like that. And they're trying to give it to you. And meanwhile, you're talking at them, so they can't, you know. And no matter what you say, half their attention is going to be on this tray, right? So they don't hear you very well at that point. And if you're finally willing to take the thing, they go like that. So the typical client-centered rhythm is a person says something, the listener says it back, the person who says it hears that it isn't right, and he says, well, I meant it more like this. Then the listener says, yeah, that's right, I see, more like this, now I understand. Then the person hears that and says, well, it's almost right, but there's a little wrinkle you didn't get. And the person says, I see that little wrinkle. And then the person says, yeah, they got it. I don't have to say that again. And there's this little inner deepening that happens. There's a space. Who knows what will come in that space? It might be anything. Well, quick, something comes. Okay, so then the person has that to say. Now they say that. Now the listener says it back and it isn't quite right, so they correct it. So then it's almost right. And the person says, well, there's this other thing about it. Oh, yeah, that other thing. Okay, and then it's heard. Again it goes. And again there's this space. And the person inside doesn't know what's going to come in that space. And so it deepens. When it goes the way it's intended to go, it deepens. And where you get to is the mysterious, most important fact about human beings, which makes this whole thing, that a human being is always much more than whatever is already formed. They're much more than what they know. They're much more than what they can say. They're much more than what makes sense. They're little steps that come out of a person, little edgy things. So when they get to the end there, where they can't say anymore, then there is this space again. And it's unclear there. Now, in ordinary social conversation, you stop there, because you're supposed to be objective and make sense, and if you can't make sense, then shut up, you know. So people stop there. And that's kind of where focusing comes from. That's where it starts. Where we went on there to say to a person something like, it's all right to stay there with that unclarity. It's like, I understand you can't say more, but there is more, right? There is that edge there where it feels heavy, or it feels confused, or it feels like it's not okay, but that's all you can say up to here. Now, don't go away. The typical innocent patient or client will look up at that point and say, well, doctor, I've told you everything I can, now it's your turn, right? And we, of course, will say, now wait, stay there with that. Well, what are they staying with? That's focusing. That's what I want to talk about. What they're staying with is a very distinct, felt unclarity.